This is Community Unveiled, meeting the secret validators. On this podcast and YouTube series, we are here to allow the secret community to have a personal connection and insight into the validators that support the secret network. Here at Secure Secrets, we value community, privacy as a human right, transparency as the key to unlocking the full value of a decentralized community, and finally, continuous growth through teamwork and collaboration. I'm Carter Lee Wetzel with Secure Secrets, your host. Without further ado, let's meet our guest. Hello everyone, this is Carter Wetzel with Secure Secrets, back with episode number 4 of Community Unveiled, meeting the secret validators. Today we have a guest that has had a massive impact on the secret network as we know it today. We have Ian on the show. So Ian, in your own words, who are you personally, professionally, 30 seconds, and what is your validator name?
All right. So I'm Ian. I guess in my own words, I am an entrepreneur, privacy advocate, and secret node runner on the network. And not as big of a deal as you said.
Well, I think that's totally debatable. So, Ian, secret nodes, it's been a long journey. You've been around the secret network for quite some time. So, what got you into the blockchain space? How long have you been here for? And kind of what brought you to secret network?
So, got into the blockchain space in 2011. I was going to college for IT stuff, and college didn't really feel very challenging. Heard about Bitcoin through mining, and I at the time had really been into like building computers and stuff. So it was an intriguing thing, and I kind of spur of the moment after learning enough about it. Left college, and me and a friend in Las Vegas started a mining company. And so I got in in 2011, and I got in through mining.
That's crazy. I mean, that's to make that leap of faith. Have you ever looked back on that moment? Would you say that's kind of like a defining moment in your life a little bit? Because whenever people talk about like college or leaving college, did it feel like the right thing, or did it feel like it was charged with risk, like that type of decision?
There is definitely a lot of risk, and that business didn't really, turn out super well. So there's definitely risk, but I've always kind of just followed my passion. Mm-hmm. So it was something that, once I kind of dug into it a bit and figured out how it worked, figured out that it was like this currency that you can custody directly and like earn, mm-hmm. Just from having skills with computers, essentially, right? Like just being able to assist admin and do things like that. Once I realized that, like, it was definitely something I was gonna pursue. Sure. It was very intriguing.
So you started this company, this mining company, and as time went on, because 2011, that was 9 years ago now. So tell me about the transition from that, initial business, and how did that eventually arrive to where we are today on the secret network?
Well, that business taught me a lot about money in general. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like literally minting like a currency, kind of, in a way, right? Like to teach you a little something about money. Mm-hmm. So it gave me a side of I came in from the technical side first of all, and it gave me this other insight that was kind of interesting. It definitely shaped my opinion on some of the markets, like mining. For example, I didn't stick around in that business. It is a business that requires a ton of capital to get into, which an amount of capital that makes running SGX seem like very small in comparison, right? Mm-hmm. Like you need to pay large electricity bills. You need to have a bunch of physical space. A lot of data centers don't actually like even have the power output to like house you for something like that. So there was just a lot of cost related to that. Definitely shaped a lot of opinions on how I view proof of work. and the direction it pushed me in was proof of stake, essentially.
Which I think that's the same for a lot of people at the very beginning of the journey. And then as we've seen a lot of different ecosystems evolve and head in the proof of stake direction. So for you, Ian, with Secret Nodes, what is special about Secret Network for our listeners in your opinion?
I think what's special about the Secret Network is the fact that it's like the bigger or older community, the older side of the community has been around for so many years now, and the core principles just haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the blockchain space, things change so quick. There's so many companies out there pivoting and rebranding and various different things. So the fact that the core focus on privacy and solving like some very meaningful and difficult
Mm-hmm.
privacy problems, the fact that that core has never changed, that's I think what's special about the Secret Network.
I think that's 100% true. The type of talent from a software engineering perspective that has been in this space for such a long time, and there's regular community members that were a part of ICO way back in the day that are still around with now Secret Network, right? So I think you're absolutely right about that. So shifting the conversation a little bit to Secret Nodes as a validator, what's kind of the biggest challenge a validator such as yourself encounters?
I would say the biggest challenge that probably any validator runs into, it's probably not unique to the Secret Network. I would say the biggest challenge is probably offering something unique
Mm-hmm.
To differentiate yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just offering something unique, right? There's a lot of overlap with different things people are interested in. There's a lot of overlap with things that people would want to build, and just like the challenge of offering something unique.
Sure. And how would you say, what do you feel like you've Secret Nodes offers unique in that category? Because I know personally, for those of you who don't know about Puzzle, that's what always, when I think of Secret Nodes, I think of Puzzle immediately. I'm using that like every single day. But can you kind of tell me about the type of tools that you kind of built to be able to differentiate Secret Nodes?
So I would say Puzzle, but I wouldn't say quite yet. Puzzle is what I want to be the answer, and we're moving in the direction of it being a unique offering.
Right.
But first things first for us has really been offering feature parity with what people expect from like a world-class explorer.
Sure.
And on the more unique side of things, I really do want a big focus of ours to be off-chain voting
Mm-hmm.
and alerts. So you'll be seeing more of that in the future, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So what would you say is your greatest concern for the Secret Network? I mean, we're on mainnet. We got SGX up and running now, and it's a very exciting time. But what's kind of your greatest concern for the Secret Network the next 6 months to a year?
6 months to a year.
Mm-hmm.
On such a short-term horizon, I'm not exactly sure what my biggest concerns are.
Mm-hmm.
In general, my biggest concern is kind of governance.
Mm-hmm.
There's a misconception around like the concept of decentralization, and I think that decentralization is good, but if we were as decentralized as Ethereum, it would take us a very, very, very long time to do some very basic things.
Sure.
I I've never been convinced that just having the absolute most decentralized network makes it very efficient at all. So I'm interested to see how like the community tackles that. There's like awesome initiatives with committees, and then there's some cool things other ecosystems are doing with committees. So like there are some paths, and blockchain didn't invent governance, so it'll be interesting to see like what governance templates or approaches get adopted by this network. And my biggest concern is just how efficient we'll be in a few years.
Right, and that's always the balance that has to be struck between, moving fast, iterating quickly versus maintaining, a decentralized decision making, format, because there's pros and cons to both. And I think when a network's young, most people agree that you got to be able to move fast and iterate. But do you think it's sustainable as time goes on and as a network grows to maintain that level of speed? Do you think there is ways around that, or do you think it's inevitable that things will slow down?
Well, I have a dual answer. I kind of think both things. Of course, as more time goes on, it's going to probably be a little slower. But as we're a more mature product, it's going to matter less for us to just turn on a dime. It's not like we're going to turn on a dime and, push out a different product, right? Like, so I think that we could just adopt a better governance structure than what Ethereum and Bitcoin uses. Both of those ecosystems have governance. It's just very opaque. It's super, super, super opaque. And like, it's a great step forward that we have the actual on-chain voting. So that gives us, a good advantage when it comes to efficiency, because you can express things and they can be seen versus like who can afford to yell into the void the loudest on Bitcoin, who can afford to, get the CoinDesk article out on their opinion on the block size or whatever the issue is. So that gives us a leg up, but yeah, I mean, I think there's a few paths forward that could be forged, and that we could still be efficient enough in a few years. It'll be interesting to see.
Sure. Well, thanks for giving us the rundown on that. That's super valuable. And I know personally there's lots of different tooling that will continue to be built out with governance that I'm excited to see come into fruition. So shifting things to kind of other Cosmos projects and Secret Network and interoperability, what are your thoughts on IBC, and how do you envision Secret Network interacting with other Cosmos projects and or Ethereum, all these other different ecosystems? What's your kind of vision for that?
I think IBC is awesome. It's awesome work that they're doing on the Cosmos network and in the Cosmos community, and for the sister coins of Cosmos and stuff built on the chain or on Cosmos SDK. I think a very good play would be for us to provide privacy for those other like Cosmos-based chains initially. I don't think it makes sense, especially thinking like a node runner. I don't think it makes sense for every ecosystem to deploy SGX nodes. It's painful to deploy SGX nodes on a decentralized network.
Sure.
So like, that's probably not the best use of their time, and it would increase, cost to barrier in all of those ecosystems. So to me, it makes more sense for, us to provide that as a thing to, other chains.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you think of use cases that currently exist in their current form without privacy by default, without any sort of wrapped secrecy, we'll say, what use case are you most excited about that could evolve because of the computational privacy that's enabled by the Secret Network? Sky's the limit on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So the most meaningful use case to me, honestly, is having privacy. Since the internet was invented, like, we haven't had privacy really. Like, these bunch of companies don't secure the data.
Yep.
They make it really hard for you to opt out. They purposely make the user flow and all that nonsense. They make it terrible. So it's easier for you to just say, okay, I accept. And then even if you do opt out, like, just by design, the way the internet has been built, applications, et cetera, we haven't had privacy.
Mm-hmm.
I know people have, vaguely referred to Bitcoin being pseudo-anonymous and people thinking this or that about their level of privacy online. but it just hasn't been there in reality. So to me, the biggest use case and the coolest one is having privacy, period.
Yeah, I've always said that with the current internet, it's always, either participate, choose a lesser evil, or sit out completely. And I feel like
Right.
those who are passionate about privacy, we've had to, choose either choose a lesser evil or sit out completely. But once privacy enables scalability, all of these use cases that currently exist that have these underlying attributes that are bad because of their lack of privacy focus, we can recreate those, but with privacy for the end user and still have a certain level of convenience that it's just going to be a no-brainer to switch over. I'd imagine one day it'll be a very large branding battle between, let's say you have a Twitter without privacy and a Twitter with privacy, right? Like there's going to be one day an inevitable battle. But I truly believe that privacy will win. And it's great to know fellow people in this community that also say, what's the most exciting part about Secret Network is the fact that privacy is coming to everything if we build out the tools to allow people to incorporate it. So it's an exciting time.
I actually don't think that, like, I'm not looking forward to like a battle between like a decentralized Twitter versus a centralized Twitter. I'm looking more towards a future where like Secret Network or something, like this can disintermediate that data for a large centralized company. So they don't have to take on the liability, and so the users don't have to trust them like just blanket trust. I'm actually personally less interested in the like decentralized Twitters or decentralized Facebooks or any of that. I would rather just see like traditional companies use this and have it be like a boring thing. Like, okay, we're going to use this. Users are going to get privacy and have it not be like a thing that is controversial for them to consider.
Sure. So we can, even if a centralized entity decides to use Secret Network, their hands are off the data in some capacity, and the users know that
Yeah.
there's going to be privacy. And so I totally agree
Yeah.
with you. Maybe perhaps I'm a little bit more radical in that I'm
That's
also
okay.
excited about, but that's part of the joy, right?
Okay.
That's the diversity in the community. So to bring this back, we're excited about the Secret Network and what it enables. Let me pull this up here quick. What is the best way to promote privacy outside of the blockchain space, in your opinion?
Talk about it. Just talk about it, because like when I talk to even like my mom or someone, somebody like that, like when I talk to my mom about privacy, like these thoughts, I don't think that they cross a lot of people's mind in the same way that like they would for a privacy advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because of this. I think it's because of mostly a misunderstanding of if they're getting privacy at all. Like now, more recently, I guess in the last few years, people are questioning it a little bit more, but they're not questioning it enough compared to how much their privacy is being violated.
Mm-hmm.
And compared to like how much privacy people just inherently had before the internet. Like there was a relatively decent level of privacy like my mom grew up with versus like what people grow up with today with all the photos of them and all this stuff forever on the internet.
Yep. When you have your wearables and your different Google devices all over the place, like it really is Pandora's box now versus 30 years ago. But I can relate to you about the conversation with parents. That's definitely you can open their eyes. It's just I think a lot of people, they feel so helpless. Like it's so integrated into their lives that it's like, how do I even go about doing this? It almost feels like a point of no return. Like I can't go back. But
I kind of feel like the conversation continues as long as we have it.
yeah.
So I like if you feel helpless with pushing privacy forward, you should figure out the right people to talk to about it and go talk to them about it.
So I totally agree. So shifting back to you as a validator, what are your long-term goals for Secret Nodes, and what separates a good validator from a great one?
So long-term goal for Secret Nodes org is to be self-sustainable. Essentially, we want to be able to provide like what we do like well into the future, as long as the secret network is around. And what separates a good validator from a great one? Not a whole lot. Just you know, not I don't think a whole lot separates a good validator from a great one. The network parameters are pretty friendly, no matter the quality provided, kinda. Um, you know, we need nodes. All nodes don't need to reinvent the wheel and like do something grand. We do just we need people to be running nodes. I don't expect that like every single node is going to do something spectacularly different than the other. When you look at other ecosystems, every single node isn't creating content and stuff like that. There's certainly some like power users or big contributors and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think delegators care about like some of what a validator does, and then a lot of them just want to stake.
Right. That is the truth. That is the truth. Well, thank you so much, Ian with Secret Nodes. Thank you for being on the show. We always like to do this. This is your open mic moment. You can say anything you want to the community and to the audience. So here you go.
Let's see. So I guess I'll just say we're looking for feedback on Puzzle. We're going to be launching in the next few weeks or month or so petitions that won't require you to put up any kind of stake to put up a petition, and that other people that have Puzzle accounts can vote on and comment on. And we're looking to really shift how we build going forward to one that takes in a lot more feedback. And so I'm hopeful to see people participate in that.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. This is Carter Wetzel with Secure Secrets. Be sure to like and subscribe. We want to keep having conversations like this. We want to keep having validators on the show, like Ian with Secret Nodes. I will link his the address below to stake with Secret Nodes. So be sure to do that. They're an awesome validator, and hope you guys have an awesome day.